right, everybody. Welcome back to the Black Multiverse Theory Podcast. The Black Multiverse Theory Podcast is where hosts Nigel and Nilo explore current events through an Afro-Canadian lens. In shoutouts, we catch up with the community, creating a space for connection. The Scroll dives into social media, current events, and celebrity news. Always actual, but not always factual. Yeah. On the screen, we share our latest watch list, and in our ears explores the sounds shaping our world. The podcast culminates with an uplifting message, and we're hoping to leave you feeling empowered. Thanks for tuning in for insightful analysis and a vibrant perspective on the Black experience in today's world.
Hello.
Hello, everyone. We have a little bit of a different, we did say we're going to keep getting better and better and better as we sit in this chair. So
yeah.
This week, we are going to be able to play some videos and stuff like that. So definitely stick with us. Be patient with us. It's our first week doing it this way. So, let's see how it goes. Do you have any shout outs?
Shout outs today is for the Steel Heights Tigers. The U15s did a good job and they won their game. And especially for my girls and the U13s, they did not win. They lost by 2, but it is good for them to lose at some points to understand what it means to improve. You're never perfect. You got to keep going. All of that stuff has to happen. So, shout outs to them. Shout outs to my mom, Mama Zita, who's always on, always supporting.
Yeah.
Shout outs to all the people, because we're doing something new. You will see us live on Nilo's page, on mine, and you will also see us on the Black Multiverse. So there are 3 places that are live streaming at the same time, which means that all 3 places individually will have you in the comments section. And because you're in the comments section, you're giving out comments on each of our page, we have to be a little bit diligent, and by we I mean me. We have to be diligent about looking at your comments. When I got off last week, Courtney was on and he was like, yo, check your comments. Well, I looked at the Black Multiverse comments. I was like, I'm here. What's the problem?
Oh, so all the comments are not coming up here?
No, they're coming on our individual pages as well.
Oh, I thought they were all culminating into this comment section that I have here. Okay, now we know.
So that's why I'm like, we got to kind of figure out who's where.
Okay, gotcha.
So, I apologize for that last week. We will be more attentive and figure that out. We always want to hear what you have to say, especially about the topics, because the topics we have sometimes are wild and bonkers. So it is time. Even today, we have a few comments that we got, and it's going to be a little bit different. So let's check it out.
Yes. Okay. And that was your shout out, Steel Heights Tigers.
Steel Heights Tigers, Mama Zita, and Steel Heights Tigers.
Okay. Steel Heights Tigers again. I'm going to give a big shout out to myself this week. Yeah. My birthday's coming up on Friday. For those of you who have some free time and want to come through and say what's up, people have been saying they're going to come through here and there, but we're having a storytelling session here at the shop. It's the second speakeasy. So this week it's all about childhood stories, children, birth stories. The theme is child's play. So whatever you can get out of that, that's what we're talking about. We've got a couple people telling stories, so come by. Gentleman Tea will be there with cake. I think Raleigh's will be there as well. Yeah. And yeah, it should be a really great time.
It's going to be a hoot.
Also, big shout out to Julia. Julia, for those of you who know her, has been a ride or die aphrodisiac for a while. She's now branching out and she is carrying the brand elsewhere. So she'll be now in Champions Barbershop. If those of you who know Wilmar, that's Wilmar's Barbershop. And so there'll be another place that you'll be able to get aphrodisiac products. And if for some reason you can't get in with me, Julia's always there. So big congratulations to her, and also happy birthday to her, because she will be turning in her late 20s on Sunday. On Sunday.
Taking that last trip around the sun.
Yes. And really shout out to all the November brethren, all the November folks who have had their birthday in the month of November and who are going to have their birthdays in the month of November. I have a lot of December folks that are some of my favorite people as well, but right now it's all about the Scorpios. And a big shout out to you guys out there. This last week was a new moon in Scorpio. There's a lot of stuff happening in the sky in astrology and stuff. So some people may have found themselves going through a lot of big changes this week, leaving certain things behind, moving into new spaces, being maybe scary. It's a scary thing, but it's definitely big change now, and definitely a lot of growth happening. So yeah, big shout out to you for making it through. It was a rough there for a while.
Absolutely.
Okay, do we want to start on the scroll?
We can start on the scroll. Let's get to our local scroll. We'll start with.
Oh, local.
So local scroll, we want to send shout outs on our local scroll to our wonderful prime minister, who tried to have a meal the other day, but because of his anti-Palestine rhetoric that he's been coming up with, he got rushed at a restaurant where he was just trying to have a meal, and they were like, "You're a murderer," and they came at him. And it goes to show, as a leader, you have to consider all the people in your constituency, not just one group. And
well, he was very uncomfortable. I kind of love seeing Justin Trudeau get like ransacked by the general public, because as frequently as it has happened, he's not very good at it. I don't feel like he's very good at it.
At getting ransacked by the public?
Yeah, and being here in Alberta, like, Alberta is like number one Trudeau hating.
That's true.
Territory, yeah. So it's just, it's.
I actually disagree with that. I think he's actually on a normal basis. If he's been cornered about different things that people thought he's like an idiot. People feel like he's an idiot. So they'll come and be like, "What do you think about?" Like the other day, somebody was like, "What do you think about jollof rice?" Like, and there was a big debate about jollof rice, and he literally had information about jollof rice, where the region, approximately where it came from, just off the dome, like off the top of his head. And then he was like, "And I think it tastes delicious," but did not answer the question of who made it first. And he walked off.
In a debate, yes, but when they're protesting him, when they're like running at him, yelling things that he doesn't really,
that wasn't a debate. They just caught him on the street and was like, boom. And then the other thing he did was they asked him about wormhole theory. It's just randomly.
But those are those are verbal questions. What they were doing to him in the restaurant was not asking him questions.
No.
They were like, "Shame on you. You have blood on your hands." There was nothing for him to say. I mean, those kinds of situations. I do not mean times where he can offer his opinion, or somebody like says something to him that he can respond to. I feel like he's good at on the fly, like politicians are. But I don't know. I like to see when people are like,
I get you.
Making it sticky for them.
I get you. It's Trudeau. I always put myself into a situation of what would I do in that situation, and I don't know what I would do either. I'm probably terrible at it too. So who knows?
Definitely, I would do exactly what he did. Just get the F out of there
as
fast as possible.
We also have in our topics for local scroll is the shooting. We had a shooting in Ellerslie at the A&W over in Ellerslie and Petro-Canada. Somebody came in and saw a gentleman there that they knew. This is the second time this specific gentleman has been shot at and an attempted murder has happened. This time they got him, but they also got his 11-year-old son. Mm-hmm. And the two of them have passed away and succumbed to their injuries. But it leads us here at the Black Multiverse Theory podcast wondering if it has something to do with the topics stuff that we were talking. Well,
the reasons we got fired, you guys.
The reasons why we are not on 580 radio anymore.
Harpreet Upal. I assume it's Upal and not Upal, because that's just my assumption. But Harpreet is the name of the gentleman, and he did move here from Surrey, BC. So it is an international story. I don't know how someone has 2 attempts on their life, but it happened, and unfortunately, baby boy got caught up in the crossfire, which is super sad, really.
It's really super sad. I just want to dial back just a little bit, go back to the first scroll topic. Mama Zita says, beg to disagree. I like Trudeau for many reasons. His father did a lot for West Indian immigrants, and you're 100% correct.
He's been riding on that.
He's been riding on that coattail for a while, and he also has done a lot for immigrants since he's been in quite a bit. He's used that coattail and mimicked it a little bit. However, when it comes down, as Nilo was saying, when it comes down to like stuff like Palestine, the stuff that he's done recently has been very, very controversial, to say the least, when it comes down to how he's been dealing with the Israel versus Palestine. He's been leaning more on the Israel side, and we have a lot of people in this city, in this country, from Palestine, and I just feel like he's not seeing both sides. Just recently, he said for them to use maximum restraint.
Right, that was the closest he got to calling for a ceasefire.
But
the United Nations voted 142-7, and I have to tell you, Canada was not on the 142 side. So in that way, I don't know if he's representing the interests of the country in that particular way. But I would agree with you that Trudeau has not only done a lot for West Indian immigrants, his father has done a lot for West Indian immigrants, but I think Justin himself has really ridden out on that for a while.
Truth. Big shout outs to Darren Hall in the house.
You
used to have that sound effect.
I have that. I do. It's here.
There we go. Darren Hall in the house. He's got a lot of... There's an owl or a couple bears. Some emojis here.
Sherrall's also on there. Sherrall's also
Shout out to Sherrall.
The
Raleigh's report. We're going to figure out how to get you in on a Raleigh's report. Good evening, Sherrall.
I think by next week we'll be able to do it. I was supposed to have sent out a thing and I didn't.
Nice.
Yeah. I apologize for that. Today, as you guys could have heard me last week to today, I have been fighting for my life out here in these streets. Oh, Vanna and Sierra say hello.
Hello, Vanna.
Morning, girls. Good evening, girls.
Good evening, Savannah and Sierra on the show. We appreciate you. You know, Uncle Nigel loves you as well. Those are...
That's for them. That's for the girls.
That's for them right there.
Yeah, twins having twins.
Twins and twins.
Okay.
So I shouted out my twins earlier, Nyla and Nana, and now we're shouting out Savannah and Sierra.
Sierra and Cece. Yes.
Shout out also to Sincere. Also played a wicked game of soccer against my boy there, Nashan.
Okay.
And it was very close. He did a very good job.
Listen, you guys, did you hear? Oh, can I talk about lay twins yet?
Yeah, let's talk. Now that we're talking about twins, Let's get into the outside of the local, and let's talk about late twins.
Okay, you guys. I don't know if this show is child friendly, but anyway, let me tell you.
Just so you know.
Now that I'm thinking about it, I'm like, wait a minute. The children are here. Anyway, you guys, late twins are these two twins that are Beyonce's dancers.
Mm-hmm.
And they were out there in France making their babies and just leaving babies in their wake. Leaving the babies in their wake. So it turns out that a bunch of women have come out and said that the twins not only are having intercourse with these women, but they're doing the old switcheroo. So their names are Lamont and Larry. So sometimes they don't know if it's Lamont, they don't know if it's Larry, because they're switching themselves out on these ladies. Their goal is to have some girl twins. And guess how many children they have allegedly, very allegedly, in their wake?
Allegedly. How many?
37. That's what the story is saying, that there's 37 children out there. Some of them are twins. Some of them are boy-girl twins. Some of them are boy-boy twins. But they're racing to have some girl-girl twins. And
that's wild.
They said it's over 20 women that have been talking about it. I think it's scandalous, not only because of the babies and the amount of babies, but the switcheroo.
Late twins, for those of you just joining in, if you don't know who the Late twins are, they're French speaking, they're from France. They literally were street performers, and they used to perform on the streets, paddling with their little hats out, and people would send it. They got their claim to fame by hitting social media and being a worldwide well before they became Beyonce's dancers.
They were on a show that was, I think it was America's Best Dance Crew. I believe it was that one. ABCD. Yeah.
ABDC.
DC, yeah. That one, yeah. Go ahead. I think that's how they blew up.
I had watched them before any competitions. I had watched them as street performers. So people would come by and videotape them as street performers, and they would do amazing things one of their key points is they would mirror each other and do exactly the same moves, mirroring each other as identical twins. Now, being a person who has identical twins running throughout my whole family, I understand where it gets weird and they do strange things. Twins do strange things, but what these two twins are being accused of
is nefarious.
It's very nefarious. One will be with a girl and then will get up and they'll switch.
Or that twin will go out with that girl that night, and now she didn't know that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They'll do a switcheroo. So I don't know how many of the women this has happened to.
Yeah.
And
there's no way to genetically find out either who's who, bro.
No, it's one of the I hate to say it, it's like
so yucky.
It's very gross, and it's the perfect crime because their DNA is
matching
identical
enough. Yeah.
Yeah. The markers out there is identical.
They wouldn't
markers.
even know.
Ugh. Gross.
Yeah. It's literally gross.
It's gross. I'm sorry for these victims, and I'm hoping that you get the help that you need on there.
Yep.
What else we got?
Theo Von.
Anybody know Theo Von?
Theo Von is I guess he's a YouTuber, but he be out there on the TikToks. He had some things to say about Edmonton.
Rosemary said the twins are from So You Think You Can Dance. Thank you.
Oh, So You Think You Can Dance.
Thank you, Rosemary.
Thank you, Rosemary.
I haven't seen Rose in a long time. Rose, I'm hoping to be down there early next year. I'm hoping.
Yeah.
And Teresa Jones is on. Hey, Teresa, how's it going? So that's good. We have Teresa Jones. Chris Mena is watching. A couple people are on mine that I can see. It's pretty hot over here on my end.
That's good.
This is great. Before we didn't used to have all three platforms streaming at the same time. Mm-hmm. So we really appreciate the love. Show us some love. send us a couple likes. Let's see that you're out there. Make a couple comments and anything.
Some hearts and some
We'll
thumbs.
try and put you up on here as we go through the hour.
Yep. So Sin said that he loves Theo Vaughn. Let's see what Theo Vaughn said about Edmonton.
What did Theo?
Edmonton is real into. Edmonton is, they want to be a big city so much. They want to, and they are. They're respected. They are, they're up there at the north. They're like as north as you could get, and they want to have crime. They're like, somebody got stabbed last year. Brr. They say stuff like that. And there's always sirens going on. There's like fire trucks go by and police, but there's nothing's going on. That's the crazy. Like, I think they just hire all these sirens to go like, wah, wah. And the cops will be like, we gotta go. There's a murder. There's a embezzlement. You're like, what? Real? There's nobody here. Who's doing it?
He said there's an embezzlement.
You know what? As an Edmontonian, part of me takes offense to what he said.
I live downtown.
But he's.
And when he said that we hire people for the sirens, I was like, that's it. I couldn't put my finger on what it was before, but that is it. We may just hire people for the sirens.
As a person who lives downtown, I'm surprised that you even are entertaining this comedian thing. And the amount of times cars have got broken into, people's bikes have been stolen out of their vehicle, and you're gonna say they hire people for crime? Come on, give it up. Give it up, lady. Yeah, right.
I've called the police when my catalytic converter was actively being stolen. I called the police like, guys, they're here right now. Come on. And the police were like, yeah, you can actually issue this online. This is like a non-emergency crime type of a thing. I'm like, no, but they're right. The crime is happening right now. It's happening. And they were like, yeah, you could just do this online.
my good friend Rod had a problem where he was trying to deal with a tenant, and the condo board said to him, you gotta make sure that the police come and make sure your place is valid for re-rent. And when he went to the police station to kind of verify,
they said, what?
They're like, yo, have you seen outside? Have you seen the city?
We don't have time.
It's Gotham out there. We try to get Batman to come in and fix this problem.
Man.
What are you doing?
My
Are you serious?
goodness.
You think I'm gonna come to your house to make sure that you're okay to rent your house? Yep, everything's okay. What? Get out of here. So the funny thing is our city is wild. Rose is out here. I did mention you before. But my mom is in the chat. If you want to talk to her, she's actually in the chat there. And we did mention Luke's homegoing last week.
Was it last week?
We mentioned it last week,
Mm-hmm.
but it was this last weekend that was gone. And I did watch it on YouTube. I was on there live watching it on YouTube, even though I wasn't able to get there in person. So shout out to Luke and his family. And all the people.
Absolutely. Bill's on there.
Hey, Bill.
Hey, Bill. Do you want to move on to Mario Lopez?
Let's talk about Mario Lopez. If you don't know about Mario Lopez got his claim to fame from the hit TV show Saved by the Bell.
Right.
It was one that was generated solely for my generation and younger to watch.
There's been new class and there's been revamps, but the OG.
The OG. I don't even know any of the new revamps. So who cares about the new stuff? The Saved by the Bell had very good looking people on there. One of them was Mario Lopez. And if you watch Mario Lopez, you'll realize he stands the test of time. The only thing about Mario Lopez is how I'm saying his name is how he has always introduced himself until this point.
So this video comes to us by from Nosy Bystander, but you can check her out on TikTok. I'm just gonna forward past her what she has to say, okay?
Y'all, Mario Lopez is sick of y'all.
These are fire. That salsa con mayo, not that spicy, but it's good. But it got good flavor. It got a little kick, but good flavor. All right. I like going with the old school saltine crackers. You like tostadas? Yep. You don't want anything else?
No.
He's on a diet. He's on a diet.
No. I just cleaned my stomach yesterday.
Too much information, Rick. TMI right there, Holmes.
How's that?
The jugo's good. The camarones are real big.
Have you ever tried one with octopus?
Yeah, I've got it with octopus.
All right.
I'm going to try some more stuff.
This food video.
So I know when I watched that, I was like, I beg your pardon, Mario Lopez? I beg your pardon, Mario Lopez?
Nilo sent it to me, and I was shocked. I was like,
You were beside yourself.
Is he Latino? Is he Mexican? Is he? And then he actually responds to the video, which we don't have that.
Yeah, we do. We could put it. I'm gonna toss it up there.
So he responds to the video, and he's like, "Who did you think with a name like Mario Lopez?"
Y'all, Mario Lopez is sick of y'all. He's sick of y'all. But we got to talk about.
And I was like, why? What I do? I was trying to rack my brain, and apparently it's because people don't think I'm Mexican. Is that a trip? With a name like Mario Lopez.
Well, you're English.
Yeah, I'm English. Teddy over here thinks I'm British. But well, you know what? They've been thinking I'm everything from Italian to Hawaiian, but I'm not. It's the weirdest thing. I was born in Chula Vista, border town right there in Tijuana. My parents are from Culiacan, Sinaloa. And I think it's because I've been doing these food videos on social with my homies. And it's a lot of Mexican food, a lot of mariscos. I love to eat. And, you know, I'm saying food and homes and a lot of, like, slang and just kind of being yourself. And I can't be like that on Access Hollywood or my radio show. I'm trying to cash these checks. I can't be sounding all hood like that. I got to keep it a little more polished and buttoned up.
Look, Mario's a.
I've actually related to Mario Lopez as a person.
Period.
I've always been like, this guy. Like, who's this guy? And he's done other talk shows as well. And he's been on it.
Yeah.
Or not on talk shows, but like
Access Hollywood.
And stuff like that. My man said Mario Lopez
with a name like Mario Lopez, born in Tijuana. And I said,
Town.
I beg your pardon, Mario Lopez. Yeah, let's give Mario Lopez.
But he does.
First time we heard him,
he does a code switch right there. And he's like, I don't understand why people are like this. And I was like, you just switched back. You not realize?
He's like, you gotta cash those checks.
He can't be sounding all hood.
Steven Simon said Screech was funny. Did Screech die, or do we always just think he did?
Screech, I think he's been reported to have died many times.
Yeah.
But I think we announced that he died.
Dustin Diamond.
I think we announced that he died. Like
I do remember talking about it, yeah.
We had announced that he died and then found out he didn't die.
Yeah.
And then we had to retract that. And then
he did
I think
pass.
he did die after that. But I don't know. Maybe he's still alive.
February 1st, 2021.
Yeah.
That's when he passed away. Okay, R.I.P. to Screech.
Screech.
Definitely. So no, Sharal, he's not Hawaiian. He's a Mexican from Tijuana. Just Tijuana.
He's from a baritone by Tijuana.
I don't like doing our accents. I just like doing the British accent.
I love that accent. It's Mama Bonito from Tijuana.
Yeah, he is Mexican.
I love it.
Yeah.
I love it.
That's so cool. Or I guess Southern Californian / Mexican. Yeah.
My man said Holmes. I've never heard Mario Lopez say Holmes,
He's there with his boys. He was there with his homies.
which is pretty good.
Yeah.
Which is pretty good.
Yep. I think we can keep it moving now.
Yeah.
Do you want to move on to what you are watching? What's on your screen right now?
Oh, okay. Yes. What we are watching right now is I watched a couple of things. First, I watched a comedian named Matt Nike, I think his name is. And he has a new Netflix special.
Mm-hmm.
And his Netflix special it's okay. Matt Rife.
Mm-hmm.
And his Netflix special is okay, but nobody wanted to touch Matt Rife with a 10-foot pole.
Okay.
And he talks about this. His dad committed suicide. And in a roast before this,
Mm-hmm.
he was doing a comedy roast, and somebody was like, "You're the reason your dad killed himself." In the roast.
Oh my God. Okay.
And so people were like, and nobody's really wanted to touch because he's very, very white, young male.
Okay.
Populist, right? So he says the stuff. We all know these people. If you grew up in Edmonton, Alberta, or anywhere around Alberta or Calgary or anywhere in that area, you know these guys are the hockey boys. They border the line when they have their jokes. They're on our job sites. They're in the trades. They're all over, and they do this thing. So nobody wanted to touch him, but then he did all these TikToks and went viral with a TikTok that he did not want. He doesn't like social media. He thinks it's toxic. And he put this up, and now he's going viral. He hangs around with a lot of black people. I think he says most of his friends are black. So when you see him, he does that thing. So I watched his thing today. I watched
His stand-up?
And it was quite interesting.
Okay.
I thought it would be more funny because the clips he puts on TikTok and all these different things, they're all funny. But when you're doing a stand-up, I forget there's like hits and misses, especially when you're new. There's a lot of misses,
Highs and lows.
and then there's the hits, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, I would give it 4 black fists out of 10. So I would say watch it with your own discretion. I'm a very strict comedy critic. This is why I don't have my own comedy show yet, because I'm like, I am very critical about sounding good and comedy. But yeah.
Okay. I'm going to do 2. One's on the screen, one's on the stage. I did go to the Burna Boy concert. So I have my show notes from Burna Boy.
Yeah.
Half of Edmonton was in there, maybe all of Edmonton. I've never seen so many black people that I didn't know in my life. Recognized a couple people. When I say a couple, like maybe 3 or 4 people. But most of them, people came out from Calgary. People came out from everywhere, surrounding areas, Red Deer, Westlock, Anderson, Ponoka, Drayton Valley. I don't know, all these olds. I don't know where they all came out from, but it was definitely a vibe in that way. The outfits were outfitting. The girls had their outfits on. I surely gave out aphrodisiac flyers while I was there. And we were sitting not too far from Shayla and Shral, who were there as well. I did go with Janelle. And so here are my show notes. So number 1, I give the show 8 out of 10 overall. Here are my notes. Number 1, I don't think at Rogers Arena, I don't think that they're very good with their levels when it comes to urban shows. I will call them urban shows. This includes
Black
Burna
people.
Boy. This includes Reed, black people.
Black people.
This includes Burna Boy. This also includes 50 Cent. The levels were off. I felt like Spliff Star and the background people were much louder than 50's mic himself. Burna Boy had a big red mic, so I'm like, with 50 shows, I'm like, oh, maybe they like swapped or whatever. But with Burna's show, once again, because Burna's voice is so deep, I don't feel like they pushed up the other levels, whatever levels they have to push up in order to bring him up over the music, essentially. Like the mids and the highs would be my guess. I'm not a sound person. So, there were times where he's singing and even his background vocalist came in louder than him more than once, like quite a bit louder. And there was a couple times where the horns also came in louder than him. I would also say that it was Rogers Arena, so it was such a large arena. And I think the production, the money went into the background singers. He had a full whatchamacallit band there, like brass was there. Yeah, several different kinds of drums was there, in addition to a full band, bass, guitar, all of that stuff. So I think that that's really where their production money went, but the stage production could have been bigger. For the venue. Like I felt like when I went to see 50 Cent, 50 Cent had cannons that went out and then lasers that went through the cannons and stuff like that. At Rogers, I think he had one cannon up in the front and that was about it. I would also say Burna himself is going to get better at performing for arenas as time goes on. Some people perform like this, like out and up, and I felt like he performed like this, like down and forward to the people who were like closest to the stage. So if you were on the floor on the stage in front of him, the vibes were vibesing, but if you were anywhere in the rest of the stadium, the vibrations didn't catch the same way. What?
My mom said I'm very handsome and I look good on screen.
Leave it to your mama.
Focus, man.
No, she's fine. She's like,
Focus.
my son. She's like, that other person's talking. Let me pay attention to what matters. And then, yeah, so Burna himself, great performance. He sounds phenomenal. He was having a good time. He performed for 2 hours straight. He was sweating. He was smiling. He was having a good time. He
Nice.
proposed to Julia at least one time, I think. She has the video. So ask her to see the video.
I'm going to have to ask Julia to see this proposal. I've got to verify the authenticity of it.
Yeah. So if I ever get the chance to see Burna again, I will probably not pay to see him in that stadium type of a venue. I would love to see him in a smaller venue. And in a way, I'm like sad I didn't see him at Union Hall a bunch of years ago, you know?
Yeah.
And then the other thing that I watched, which is on Netflix, is Blue Eyed Samurai. I don't know if that's actually what it's called. But
It 100% is.
okay, good. So it's about a time in Japan where they rid Japan of all the white folks, and this young girl is born and grows up in like a cottage with her mother, and her father is white. It seems like maybe it was not a consensual bringing forth of this child. Anyway, but she has blue eyes and they call her all kinds of things, and she has to go through her life pretending that she's a boy, and then turns into like this vicious samurai. So I'm right into the part where it's getting thick. So it is a great story. It's like a really, really good story. It was recommended to me. I'm sorry to the person who recommended it to me, but I will remember who did. But it was one of my clients who were like, yo, you have to check that out. So if you get a chance, if you like anime, it's a really good storyline. And I like the fighting's good. I like the illustrations as well.
Yeah, I watched Blue Eyed Samurai as well. I've watched it in entirety, so I'm not giving out any spoilers.
Thanks.
You know me For those of you who have watched the show, the morning show, and even the podcast, I am the spoiler alert person.
Nigel will run you through the entire.
I'm going to leave it alone. I'm not going to
the
say
plot.
anything.
And then.
Zero. I'm going to say nothing.
Okay. What are you listening to right now?
Listening to is quite interesting. I have been trying to touch on new artists and new things. So there is an artist that I've been kind of dancing around trying to listen to. His last name is Solomon, but he sounds like Marvin Gaye. And they call him the new Marvin Gaye.
I've heard of him before.
Snoop Dogg said that he saved R&B. And I'm like, listen.
He sounds just like Marvin Gaye, to be honest with you.
We're good at copying. Great. It's good to copy. But it's always good to come up with something new, like an original sound.
I don't feel like he builds on Marvin Gaye, personally. So you'll tell me what it's like replication. Like
He doesn't sing any of Marvin Gaye songs. Period.
No.
They're all new songs.
Yes.
But he does sound very much in that style.
Right.
He has the stylistics of it. So that is basically what I've been listening to as far as him. But he's absolutely smooth. It's great music if you want to wind down. It's great music if you're chilling out or if you're doing something intimate. So all those things are in his genre. He's a love crooner.
Okay.
What about yourself?
I am listening to Andre 3000's new album. I know it's not Friday yet, you guys, but Andre 3000 came out with a new album. It's coming out on Friday. I've currently actively been listening to Shaman Durek. If you get a chance, check him out. The podcast is called Ancient Wisdom Today, and it's a lot of uplifting messages that sort of make sure that you're living in love and make sure that you're walking the right path for you, whatever that means, and getting as much love and joy out of your life, and really focusing on approaching people with love and situations with love, but also setting your boundaries and protecting yourself and all of those things.
Right.
But on Friday, our guy there, 3 Stacks, as we like to call him, is going to be releasing an album called New Blue Sun, and it is a flute album. It is not hip hop. He said he didn't know rapping would get him to producing. He didn't know producing would take him to playing instruments. And then he didn't know that playing instruments would lead him to releasing a flute album. So let's go through this track list. You ready?
Yeah, let's hear.
There is no lyrics on the track list. So he also said that he wanted to explain the tracks as much as possible. And he got really into, as he says it, the long title thing. So track number 1, I swear I really wanted to make a rap album, but this is literally the way the wind blew me this time. Track number 2, the slang word Pussy, the children are on, I'm sorry, rolls off the tongue with far better ease than the proper word vagina. Do you agree? Song number 3, that night in Hawaii where I turned into a panther and started making these low register purring sounds that I couldn't control. Shit was wild. Track number 4, bipolar disorder. That's BUIPOLO disorder. Daughter wears a 3000 button down embroidered. Okay. Number 5, 1993 Till Infinity and Beyonce. Number 6, Gandhi, Dalai Lama, Your Lord and Savior, Jay-Z, / Bundy, Jeffrey Dahmer, and John Wayne Gacy. That's song number 6. Number 7, Ants to You, Gods to Who. And number 8, Dreams once buried beneath the dungeon floor slowly sprout into undying gardens. So on Friday, which happens to be my birthday, please know that I will be listening to Andre 3000's flouting album.
It's not a word. Okay, so
Every word that anyone says ever is a word.
no.
Yeah, I think that's it. I was gonna say something else about it, but pretty much three stacks said that he doesn't really see himself rapping again. But if he ends up doing that, then that's fine. But he just feels like that's where he was then, and he said rhythms change, pulse change, and hip hop's a kid's game. He said.
The thing about it is he did the last album that I fell in love with was the one that he did with Big Boy, the 2 side-by-side albums where he did like a whole double CD track.
The Love Below.
And
Speaker Box.
Big Boy did his. So he did Speaker Box. He did the Love Below. And I loved the Love Below. I really enjoyed it. The musicality was crazy.
That was
it
very
was just
good.
so dynamic. So I loved, and I'm excited to see what he's about to do with the introduction of flutes. Now, will the whole thing have just flutes in it?
Yes.
We don't know.
They said there's no beats. It's just flute music. Yes. Okay. I'm looking forward to it.
We're going to see. We're going to see what he's got.
Okay, last bit. Do you have a word for us this day, this evening, this week?
Yes, I do have a word for this week.
Ooh.
Go ahead.
I just wanted to say that Moraine is releasing his album this Saturday at the Starlight Room.
Mm-hmm.
So this very weekend at the Starlight Room, Moraine is releasing his album. Also, if you have not already, check out the Friends of Barbados. They have their gala coming up. Is that the 27th?
25th.
The 25th of November, this very November. So please check them out. That gala happens every year. It's a great time and everybody dances and it's adorable. And it's hosted by not yours truly, but Nigel.
And the next week after that, Chinaman Eric has his banquet as well.
Yeah.
What he calls I believe it's a holiday banquet.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the next week after that.
Okay. And we have Roy Wood Jr.
Mm-hmm.
That is going to be at the
River Creek.
River Cree. And I believe that's November 22nd.
Okay.
So definitely check that out. A lot of us are going to be in the House of Moraine on Saturday, so it's going to be a great spot to be. A Field is going to be out in the building as well in numbers because everybody is out there supporting the homie. And then also, we have a Tale of Two Bundles that's coming up at Aphrodisiac. And we have the Speakeasy tomorrow. And I think that's it for right now. Now we're ready for your word. I'm so sorry. Next week we'll have Sheryl doing this properly.
Okay. All right. Well, the word for this week is very basic. I specifically have been dealing with the fluctuation of finances. And if anybody's like me, there are times when finances are high and there are times when finances are low. And those times when they're low, it could actually activate our own personal viewpoints, our thoughts, and our feelings. And we tend to get into a spiral where we are hyper-focused on the fact that they are low. But we also have to remember that they are high at times as well. So put together a plan and try to estimate when they're normally low. And some of us can see a pattern as to when the lows. For me, it's October, November, and February, March. Those are my low times when things aren't really where they're supposed to be and it's a little bit of a drag. So what you got to do is you got to stay positive, get back at it, put as many feelers out there, do as many things to get that money back at you. And what you put in is what you're going to pull out. So what does that mean? The energy you put in is also the energy you're going to put out. So if you're talking about the Bible, whatever you sow, you will reap. If you're talking about energies, you're talking about whatever energy you're going to put in, positive energies, you're going to reap that same energy back. And so you got to do that consistently, despite the fact that you may be feeling a little bit down. And so put in what you want to get out. And that's the word for the week.
That's an amazing word. I have to say, we were very, very slow in October at the shop, like detrimentally slow. And I spent the entire month on client acquisition, working the website, handing out flyers, and just sort of sticking with it. And yeah, I have to say thank you for that word, because it definitely made a difference in November. And sometimes the things you're doing might not make a difference like that right away, but yeah, you got to put in that energy so you can get it out.
Yeah, most definitely.
All right, everybody, thank you for hanging out with us tonight on the Black Multiverse Theory podcast. We will see you again next week. Same bad time, same bad channel. That's Wednesday nights at 8-ish. And if you're looking to promote anything, your business, your event, you can definitely hit us up and let us know.
All right. Alrighty.
Good night, everybody.